So today we're going to talk about section 7.3. So we're going to start by talking about proportions. Okay, we've already seen the question and the term come up, whether or not something are proportional. Right? If two ratios are proportional, that means that they are equivalent ratios. So a proportion is what we call the actual statement that states that two ratios or rates are equal. So if A over B and C over D are two equal rates, then A over B equals C over D is a proportion. Right? So what we have here is we have two ratios or rates with an equal sign in between them. We can go back and we can think about what we saw in section 7.1. Our product of our means equals the product of the extremes. So if we find our cross products, if we cross multiply, right, A times D are diagonal from each other, that product should equal the product of B times C. Right. So the idea of a proportion gives us a way to solve problems where we are looking for an unknown value. So our first step, we're going to simplify the proportion if wanted or if necessary. That's not going to be the case in example 1, but we will see that happen in example 2. Right? Then we're going to cross multiply. So we're going to cross multiply. We're going to find our two cross products and set them equal to one another. Then we're going to have a little mini equation. All of these little mini equations are going to be solved using the same exact step for step 3. We're going to divide each side of our equation by our coefficient, which is the number next to our unknown, the number next to our variable. Then the last step, you can feel free to check your solutions in your original proportion. Go through, do the cross multiplication again, and make sure it works. I'm not necessarily going to show the checking step for all of these. We're just going to kind of go through the rest of the steps. So for example 1, we're asked to solve for the unknown. So we're going to multiply 3 times 12 and 4 times n. Now you can multiply in any order that you want to. Right? So we can multiply, I usually start with up here. Some of you may choose to work with a variable. It makes no difference. I'll do these a couple of different ways. 3 times 12 gives us 36. Right? And then we're going to set that equal to our other cross product. Our other cross product, 4 times n, is 4n. Right? Now we always divide by the number that's next to our variable, which is our coefficient. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. Right? And our solution for this one, n equals 9. Right? 36 divided by 4 gives us 9. What happens on this side is these 4's actually cancel each other out. Right? When you're writing these, we're not too particular about whether the variable is on the left side or the right side. All we really care about is that we find our cross products. We cross multiply. Our 3 times 12 gives us 36, and our 4 times n gives us 4n. If we wanted to write it doing the 4n first, right, we could say 4n equals 36, but we solve it the exact same way. Right? And then we get a statement for n equals 9. So it doesn't matter what's on the left side of our equal sign, what's on the right side of our equal sign, as long as we have our cross products found appropriately. All right, so for B, 5 times n gives us 5n. 3 times 35. So we're going to just use a little sheet of scratch paper here. 35 times 3 gives us 15. 3 times 3 gives us 105. So 5n equals 105. Then we're going to divide both sides by 5 because that's our number next to our variable. And I suppose I'll just go ahead and rewrite the little scratch work that we just used on this sheet of paper, so that way if you're looking at the notes online, so that gave us 15, 3 times 3. Right, so that way we can see where all of these calculations are coming from. 5 goes into 105. Well, 5 goes into 10 twice. 5 goes into 5 once with nothing left over. And it works out nicely and gives us an answer of 21. Right, now we're going to do this last one. 6 times n is 6n. 24 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 120. So 6n equals 120. Divide both sides by 6. We don't need to worry about long division for this one. 6 goes into 12 twice, so 6 goes into 120 20 times. So when we're setting up proportions, the basic steps, the basic idea that we want to work through here is we want to cross multiply and then divide by whatever number is next to our coefficient.